They said it couldn't be done. Animating stop motion, upside down, a fool's errand, a madman's dream. The odds were stacked against me. Gravity, my sworn enemy. Every frame a battle, every second a war. But I didn't come this far to let physics win. This is not just stop motion. This is a fight for the impossible. So one of the main problems with this challenge is that I can't just have things attached to the roof for like an entire week. So I decided to limit myself to 3 days. I knew if it was only 3 days, I would need as much time as possible to do it. So I decided to do it during the winter break. And I chose the best day to get started with this. So today's the last day of the break, and tomorrow school starts, and this is what we're looking at right now. So you can see this is definitely not stop motion, which is why I'm gonna do a setup today. You know what would be cool if I made like a stop motion of me doing the setup? That would be like a complete waste of time, so I would never do that. Boom! Now all we gotta do is put this up here. Oh yeah, it's gonna work. Swirling. So my initial idea was to just put a bunch of sticky tack on the bottom and then put it up against the roof, and I thought it would hold, but I quickly found out that that was not going to work. Not gonna do it. So I had to pull out my backup plan, which was Scotch tape. And so this is where our second of many problems arrives, and that is gravity. This base plate is not going to be able to support all the minifigures, the camera, and the build, because it is held up by 2 little things, a sticky tack, and 4 pieces of Scotch tape. I don't know what I was thinking at this time, but that's a problem for me later. I just ended up using stronger tape, so after 2.5 hours of just constantly taping and fixing all these issues that I'm having, I was getting really tired, and I knew that I couldn't push it off to the next day because there's only 3 days in this. So for the background, I couldn't put anything too heavy, so I just found the lightest thing I could, and I had these little gray panels I could put along the backside, so that there was at least a background to this animation. Yeah, this is never gonna fall. This is very stable. Oh yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. There's nothing weird about this video. I bet you guys didn't even notice it was upside down. Now it's time for me to tape the camera to the base plate. And this is where we run into our third problem, which is the tape once again. This art tape that I was using was not strong enough to hold up the camera, and because of that, I had to pull out the big guns. Duct tape. After another 30 minutes of taping, this was the result. This is what it looks like right now. And this is where things got really cool, because now when you turn the camera upside down, you couldn't even tell that it was upside down. Like I showed it to one of my friends, and he didn't even notice until I told him. Alright. This is the final setup. As you can see, the camera is very, very, very secure. It's not prone to falling at all, which is why I'm going to do this in 2 hours. 10 o'clock, we're going to finish by 10, because I've got school tomorrow. Alright, so I'm ready to begin. This is what it's looking like. Very safe, of course. This is hanging, that's intentional. So the characters standing on a chair. This is gonna be fun. This was the first 2 minutes of me trying to animate. Do you notice anything wrong with this video? Specifically the camera? Of course you do. Everyone notices. The camera is falling actively. It is moving. There is not enough tape, and it's going to do this for the entire animation. This is probably the biggest problem that I encountered, and I had no way to solve it. And so what is my solution, you may be wondering? Well, this is what I call the run and gun maneuver, which is animate as fast as you can, with the less amount of frames as possible and the least amount of movement as possible. I only had like 2 hours to do this, and the camera was moving, and I knew it was gonna look so choppy, so I just had to do this as fast as possible. As for the actual animation, I decided to make it a fight scene, and you can see that whenever I put pressure on the base plate, it's constantly moving because the middle is not actually taped to the roof, it's only the corners, so everything is weighing down in the center. So anytime I put pressure on it, it moves. Anytime I move a character, you can see that they kind of move around, especially when I use the sticky tack. And then the camera is, of course, moving constantly. So these are all problems that I did not know how to deal with, and we will see that in the result of animation. I don't actually have any footage of day 3 because it's just me editing. So yeah, it was 8 seconds long, around 13 frames per second, so there was like 104 frames there. At first, I didn't really like it, but like the more I looked at it, I liked it a bit more. Obviously, it's a terrible animation because it was done upside down. I had to do everything upside down. I couldn't move the camera because it was taped to the roof. I couldn't do much. Everything was falling. Everything's moving. You can just see the camera moving constantly in animation. So I tried to make it turn into some sort of screen shake, but it's debatable whether that worked or not. The one thing I did like though is that the stomp on Grogu, I thought that actually turned out really nice. That was the one thing I did like about this animation. So yeah, thank you for watching the video, of course. If you did enjoy it, please let me know. Otherwise, I probably won't be making more videos like this. I read all the comments, so if you want me to try anything out, I'll be sure to read it. Thanks for watching.